नमस्कार दोस्तों और जय हिंद। आप सभी को स्वागत है इन माय चैनल 1971 वॉर बुक सीरीज। तो दोस्तों, आज हम थोड़ा कुछ डिफरेंट करने वाले हैं। आपने तो मेरे सिंगल पॉडकास्ट देखे होंगे वेयर आई हैव बीन इंटरैक्टिंग विद वन वेटरन एट अ टाइम। टुडे I will be hosting a joint podcast with four Indian Armed Forces veterans, two from the Indian Army and two from the Indian Air Force. So first of all, I would like to start with the small introduction of Brigadier Ajit Apte. You must have seen him in one of my videos. He is from the 14th Field Regiment and fought in the Jasor Khulna sector in the 1971 war as a second lieutenant. The next person from the Indian Army is Brigadier Prakash Ghogale, who served as the adjutant of the 8 Guards from the 20 Mountain Division in the same 1971 war Bangladesh operations in the northwestern part of Bangladesh. The third person is, as you have seen in my previous videos, Squadron leader Pushp Kumar Vaid, Veer Chakra, who was the flight commander of the 1110 helicopter unit, flying the Mi-4 helicopters, taking part in the Surma Helibridge and the Meghna Helibridge. And with him, I have brought Air Commodore Sridharan, who was flying under him, served in the Bangladesh operations under him as flying officer. He and his boss both will be present from the Indian Air Force side in this joint podcast. So let's welcome all of our veterans, Brigadier Ajit Apte, Brigadier Prakash Ghogale, Squadron leader Pushp Kumar Vaid, and Air Commodore Sridharan to our program today.
First of all, I'd like to welcome you all to this joint podcast of ours, all 71 War Bangladesh Operation veterans here, sir. So, as we have decided, I would like to start with Brigadier Ajit Apte with his own participation in the Bangladesh Liberation War as an infantry officer, but from the artillery. So I'll start with the infantry ops, then I'll shift to the Air Force part, sir. I hope it's okay for all of you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Perfectly.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Debu, for inviting me on this joint podcast with some very distinguished officers who fought on the Eastern Front along with me. I was in the Jasor Khulna sector with 2 corps, and I was with 9 Infantry Division in the Jasor Khulna sector. My regiment initially was part of 4 Corps under General Sagat Singh. We were located in 23 Mountain Division in the area of Tanga, Rangia. From there, we were brought down in August 71 to the Jasor Khulna side. We went into the concentration area in Barakpur, Kantrapar. From there, my battery was deployed in a place called Bongaigaon, and from there we went up on 24th of September. I opened fire on enemy targets on 28th September 1971. My regiment was in direct support of 350 Infantry Brigade. My regiment was with my battery was with Jack rifles. The other 2 batteries of my regiment were with 4 Sikh and with 26 Madras. So on 14th October 1971, the entire regiment built up in the area of Bangaigaon. I carried out initial training of the Mukti Bahini to teach them how to take immediate neutralization shoots. That happened in September and October, and subsequently we carried out a lot of firing throughout October. The regiment fired as a complete regiment fire plan on 14th October, and then we fought the Battle of Maslia. We continued firing throughout October, November, but the important keynote features were the Battle of Maslia on 11th November, then the Battle of Garipur on 21st November
Sir, could you
1971.
mention your unit and the equipment that you're using in brief?
14 Field Regiment, equipped with 25-pounder guns, and we had an additional battery called Sarah battery with 4.2-inch guns because they were also given to us. So
Okay.
all regiments of 9 Artillery Brigade, part of 9 Infantry Division that we were part of, were all equipped with 25-pounder guns. That is 6 field, 14 field, and 67 field regiments. We had 78 medium regiment with 130 millimeter guns. Out of that 78 medium regiment, one battery with Alpha Squadron of 45 cavalry was sent to 4 mountain division under 2 corps. So 2 corps had 9 infantry division and 4 infantry division, and 45 cavalry less a squadron was with us. So on 21st November, uh, the 45 cavalry and 14 Punjab were deployed for the Battle of Garibpur. So I participated in that as a at priority call battery to support the 45 cavalry regiment less a squadron. So I was at priority call to Major Chifi Narad, as he was known, who was killed in action in that battle and got a Bhavi Chakra posthumously. I was giving them fire support. I was also firing indirect fire for 45 cavalry. Also, my regiment was in support to 14 Punjab. Uh, as I would like to mention, we have Brigadier Ghogale here, infantry officer. An infantry battalion requires minimum of 11 to 14 fire units for a battalion attack, and 14 Punjab launched their attack. They could not have done with their own direct support field regiment, which was 6 field regiment. They required the complete 9 artillery brigade, so our regiment was deployed along with the other field regiments. I must also mention here that 78 medium regiment, which is generally allotted to the armor, was not available since both the batteries were firing on Jessore airfield. So uh, our regiment was made available, so I participated in that battle. It was a successful battle. Garipur was captured, and 45 cavalry knocked out 11 tanks, which was mentioned by the Prime Minister subsequently. And only a few tanks limped out of battle that day. Subsequently, I participated in the famous Battle of Borinda on 29 November, in which we had a lot of casualties. First Jack Rifle had a lot of casualties, and ultimately Borinda was not captured. Subsequently, on 1st and 2nd December, we were bombarded heavily by the Pakistani guns. 22nd November also, the enemy aircraft, that is 14th Squadron Pakistan Air Force, with their 4 Sabres attacked my gun position and other vital and crucial locations of the infantry and armor in the engineer bridging harbors of 9 Infantry Division. There was a dogfight. Our Air Force came in from 22 Squadron, led by Ganpati, Massey, Lazarus, and Suarez, and the famous dogfight took place, which is now historical. And our aircraft successfully shot down the enemy pilots. The Sabres were shot down. I had the great opportunity of seeing Flight Lieutenant Parvez Bedi captured. Flying Officer Khalil Ahmed also. Initially, Parvez Bedi was taken charge of by then Captain Panag, later Lieutenant General Army Commander. But both the pilots were brought to my gun position. Our second in command interrogated them. I was there with my adjutant, then Captain Sapatnekar, now retired brigadier, and Lieutenant Gabriel Pereira, now retired lieutenant colonel. And I was there. We interrogated them, gave them tea and biscuits in accordance with the Geneva Convention. We took out their maps, and I saw all our positions marked, and subsequently I blindfolded them, and later Parvez Bedi, then flight lieutenant, became chief of the air staff of the Pakistan Air Force in 1999 during the Kargil conflict. Subsequently,
Now, sir,
on
coming to Jessore, I
yeah,
would like to know a bit about your participation, sir. Like
yeah,
the subsequent actions that happened.
yeah. So war was declared on 3rd December night,
Hmm.
consequent to the Pakistan Air Force carrying out a preemptive airstrike on the Western Front.
Hmm.
So that legitimized our requirement of carrying out heavy shelling and bombing. So the war was declared on 5th December. My guns went. We were part of 350 Brigade. We reached the Kabadak River near Jingargacha, which is about 10 to 12 kilometers southwest of Jessore. There was no bridge. The bridge was being made. So I took my guns across two rafts, a troop of guns. The rest of my battery, along with the regiment, followed up 6 hours subsequently once the bridge was made. I took my guns across in the face of enemy fire. The first Jack rifles had already crossed the river Kabadak in their assault boats. The PT-76 of the Squadron of Armor 45 Cavalry was also attempting an amphibious crossing. I deployed my guns on 5th, the regiment built up, and on 6th we engaged targets before Jessore. My regiment carried out a quick action because the enemy was very active. So quick action was carried out, open action was carried out, and a lot of ammunition was required. We took help of the local villagers in the cycle rickshaws and all. And finally, the Battle of Jessore took place with all of us firing heavily. Artillery firing was very heavy onto Jessore, and 107 Infantry Brigade by Brigadier Hayat finally vacated Jessore. So I will say that there was not much of a heavy battle at Jessore because the enemy was pounded so much by our artillery and the air that it was virtually an easy way of getting into Jessore. They vacated, and the enemy 107 Brigade moved ahead towards Khulna. But I entered Jessore on early morning 7th. Jessore was taken, and there were battles at a place called Ramnagar outside Jessore, where there was a heavy, fierce counterattack by the Pakistanis, but that was sustained. I fired on defensive fire, Save Our Souls, and defensive fire, Red, 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 with my regiment to augment the fire resources of 67 Field Regiment. Then the battle progressed. We went on towards Giltala, then Daulatpur, and finally Siramani. There were battles in between, that is from the 7th of December right up to 11th, 12th. Heavy fighting as the Pakistani covering troops outside Jessore fought very fiercely. At that time, our 32 Brigade, 42 Brigade, all were closing in with my brigade, and finally, Khulna was invested, and all our brigades were there. And on 16th December, the Battle of Siramani took place. But in the evening, I met an Armored Corps officer in a Toyota vehicle of the pre-independent Armored Squadron of Pakistan, which we had defeated at Garipur, as I mentioned to you.
Shafi tanks,
He,
right, sir?
sorry?
Shafi tanks, M24 Shafi tanks.
Yes, and he told us that the war is over. The Pakistan Army was at that moment surrendering at Dhaka, which we didn't know, or rather, we didn't have very concrete information. So this captain, I don't know his name, but he drove in a Toyota, handed over his revolver to me. Since I was a second lieutenant, I walked him to the nearest senior officer, that was Captain Gupta from 45 Cavalry, and together we took him to the CO commandant of 45 Cavalry, Colonel Jamwal, and there was an obstacle there, so my guns were there, and I carried out a little reconnaissance in some bunkers which had been vacated by the Pakistani troops. I found a briefcase there belonging to Lieutenant Qurban Ali Raza. I subsequently, when the war was over on 17th morning in our sector, we were asked to assist in the surrender ceremony. General Dalbir Singh, General Officer commanding 9th Infantry Division, took the surrender. I was there. I was also tasked to go on the naval ships of the
At the
Pakistan Navy.
Khulna Circuit House, sir, surrender happened, right, sir?
No, Khulna There was a school there,
अच्छा अच्छा
but the circuit house was captured by us. My regiment occupied that, their officers' mess, but the surrender was in the school grounds. In between, I had gone with two officers to check if the naval, sailors were still there from the Pakistan Navy, but they had been rounded up. So we came back. The U.S. Seventh Fleet had sailed in, so there was some talk that Brigadier Hayat may not surrender, and hopefully, be evacuated by some of the ships from the Seventh Fleet. But that did not happen. We captured everything. I must say our Indian Navy did good work, and I think I must pay a compliment to our Indian Air Force. They did marvelous work. In fact, they ensured that ground forces, after the 22nd November, could move freely, and our movement was very swift when war was declared. There were a few stray enemy sorties over us from 14 PAF Squadron, but they were negligible. So I would like to pay a very handsome tribute to the Indian Air Force, not only on the Eastern Front but even on the Western Front. And I think it was a wonderful collaborative action, integrated joint services action between the Indian Army, the Indian Navy, and the Indian Air Force in their own ways. The surrender I attended at Khulna, I met that officer whose briefcase I had captured. I returned it to him but kept a letter as a memorabilia. I have his photograph, and I think it was a wonderful experience that I had with just about less than 1 year of service. And I frankly learned a lot, which probably I did not do so in my 36 years of service in the Indian Army. What I learned on ground experience during the 71 war. And I will just say before I finally hand over back to you that there were some very defining moments. I told you, crossing the river on two rafts given to me by Captain Bhara, then now retired brigadier, participating in that armor action, supporting 45 cavalry, then taking part in all the battles right up to the final surrender at Khulna. And I'll make a mention out here. We have Brigadier Prakash Ghogale out here, whom I have known from my academy days, senior to me. We played cricket together, but he helped me out a lot when we were in the concentration area and in the forward assembly area. 8 guards was along with us, but subsequently they moved to the hilly sector, and we then became part of 2 corps. So I think, Debo, it was a wonderful experience, and this is how I have summarized it in the little time that you have given me. Thank you very much.
thank you sir for your wonderful experience and talking about it. Now I would like to go to the northern part of your sector of operations, to the 20 Mountain Div. So coming to you, sir, Brigadier Ghogale, you are a part of the 20 Mountain Division, and 8 guards, of course. You are the adjutant of that battalion. So I would like to know a bit about your experiences, sir, as an infantry officer.
Yeah, I became a mechanized officer in command, but basically an infantry officer. And in fact, yeah, in fact, I was the adjutant not only of my battalion but also of the Mukti Fauj camp in January 71.
अच्छा अच्छा
In January 71, we established a Mukti Fauj camp at Murti camp. And there even our defense minister, Mr. Jagjivan Ram, came and saw,
So
we were training these
January,
Mukti Bahini,
sir,
what do
January
you call personnel.
1971 or
Yes, January 1971. That was the time when we were, and thereafter, after that, we handed over to the other battalion, and we were deployed in June 71, about 60 kilometers inside the Siliguri corridor in then East Pakistan for about 2 months, from June to August. We were deployed there. We were just behind the Mukti Fauj, and it was 60 kilometers inside East Pakistan. And every time the Pakistani used to beat them back, they used to fall back on us. So that was what, from June to August, we did that. In fact, the In fact, the UN people came to check, whether the Indian Army is involved or not. So all of us were wearing lungis that day and
अच्छा.
pretending to be Mukti Fauj. The entire battalion was in lungis. Anyway, so that was that, and thereafter we moved back to our permanent location in August to Hasimara. And then in October, or sorry, it's end of September, we moved to a place called Trimohini near Balurghat. That is northwestern sector of East Pakistan. And a place called Trimohini where we carried out various drills and battle drills. And General Arora came to us and addressed. It is, I think, very rare that an army commander addresses a battalion, but he addressed us and told us to fight well, and you got a very strong enemy, and that was that. So thereafter, the dates kept on postponing. The dates kept on postponing,
Of the
and
assault, I guess, on the
of the
Pakistan.
assault, because I think Indira Gandhi was going around in all over the world, and with the result that we're like, well, what should I say? I can't say fools, but we were going there and wrecking, from our border outpost,
I
and
think
so
your
they knew
main
that
enemy at that time was 4 Frontier Force, Sam
four
Manekshaw's unit
enemy,
itself.
enemy was four frontier force, and they knew that this is the only place from where you can come, from the northern area, because southern area and it was full of township, hilly town, and what you call there was a railway line running, so across the railway line would have been a frontal attack. So everybody says that we did a frontal attack, but that was not the case. We came from the north. So with the result that four frontier force built up such a strong defenses. There was a railway line there. They took out the slippers and they, what you call, fortified their defenses. And so that was that. And on their morale was sky high that time, because the war had not started. Only if actions
November
had
में
taken place.
Pakistani morale was very high. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that was that. And on 22nd November, finally we moved to the concentration area, moved toward the assembly area. And then on 23rd night, 23rd night around 11 o'clock, there's a place called Nawapara, to the north of Morapara, where Charlie Company went and captured that place. There were a few, what should I say, few early warning elements, and so the result, it was a cakewalk of sorts. We suffered a few casualties, but it was a cakewalk of sorts, and so our morale was even higher because we had captured Noabara, and then thereafter. Alpha and Bravo Company were to attack Morapara defenses.
Alpha
Now,
Company
Morapara
led by
defense,
the legendary Major Manjarekar.
yes, led by the legendary Major Mandrekar, who was, anyway. So, Alpha Company led by Major Mandrekar and Bravo Company led by Major Ravindranath or Captain Ravindranath, I don't remember now. But anyway, so, having captured Noapara so easily, our morale was sky high. And as right from the afternoon of 23rd, artillery fire, we had medium regiment, 38 medium regiment, we had 100 mountain regiment, and they kept on firing. It was like an earthquake, it was so, what you call, you can imagine a medium battery firing,
Right.
what you call, a mountain regiment firing, a light regiment firing. So all that was, firing only on Morapara. So you can imagine what was happening there. Anyway, so there, as at around 2300 hours on the night of 23rd November, we were moved to the FUP, and we were watching from the FUP because the adjutant, the CO, and the 2IC were second in command were all together, and we were watching what is happening. So as they crossed the Alpha Company and Bravo Company, as they crossed came near the minefield. You see, now we are supposed to cut the wire and all that, and our josh was so much that we were shaking the what do you call and climbing the barbed wire. So they had put those what you call bells on that. The moment that bell started ringing, the fire started off, and it was just machine gun fire, enfilade fire from both sides, medium machine gun fire, and along with the artillery of theirs, and they started firing, and this Alpha Company bore the brunt of the attack. You see, because Bravo Company went a little off. Now I am talking of Alpha Company now. Alpha Company. Major Mandrekar was the leading assault company commander, and he went to the bunker. He destroyed one bunker. As he was about to destroy the second bunker, he got a burst, and he fell down. Now I have got the Arul Raj, the famous artist, has what you call painted these for the war memorial. So, the three pictures: one of Major Mandrekar, one of Samra.
Second Lieutenant Samra.
Second Lieutenant Samra, and third of Ramugra Pandya, Mahavir Chakra.
Right.
Yeah, so he has painted these three pictures, and they are available as prints in the war memorial. Anyway, so that was that, and as he fell down, one could hear on set, that as he said, he said, the moment the fire came, the troops sit down. And Indian Army troops, unless they are led, they will not follow you. So he was the one who had got up, Major Mandrekar. And the troops followed him. And one could hear on the radio set, his last call, saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai. And I think he passed away after that. Now we come to his operator was there, Naik Srilal, who ultimately became a Subedar Major in the battalion. He switched over to the next platoon commander of Alpha Company, that is Second Lieutenant Samsher Singh Samra, Mahavir Chakra. Samsher Singh Samra, I must tell you the story. He went the previous day and to his coursemate and gave him a letter. He said, please give this letter to my father and tell him, please don't look out for any girl for me. And this is my watch. Where I am going, I will not require it. So this is, just keep it. So such was his motivation. Such was his motivation, And he always used to tell me that you send me, across, right from beginning. You send me across. I want to pull out a machine gun from Pakistani defenses. That is what was his aim. So on the once the operator went to him and he got on the set, he was 50 yards ahead of his troops. Can you imagine? 50 yards ahead of his troops. No, this was verified by 4 Frontier Force prisoners of war, who said to the guards, camp commander, Brigadier Palsogar. Palsogar is also from guards.
Okay.
And he went and told them that there was one Sardarji who was 50 yards ahead of his troops. So you can imagine, and later on when he destroyed one bunker, destroyed another bunker, and as he was about to pull out, a machine gun which he wanted to,
right.
he fell down and he got a burst. In fact, his photograph, rather his memento in the battalion, as also in OTA, Chennai. Officers Training Academy, Chennai, is also made in that fashion. Of his and his course-mates wanted to present that statue to OTA. It is there. So that was that. Then after he fell, Srilal went to the third platoon commander. The third platoon commander was Second Lieutenant Parmanand Gupta, barely 6 months of
Service.
seniority. And he was speaking with the CO, and CO told him, you gather all your remnants and attack. He, along with his JCO Subhadar Dallu Prasad, he attacked, got me. And the poor chap, he was found near leaning. His body was found leaning against a tree, with bullets riddled from the face till till his toe. One could not recognize his face, because it was riddled with bullets.
Right.
And this, he was recommended for Mahavir Chakra. Manjrekar was recommended for Paramveer Chakra. He was the highest recommended officer of the battalion. Both of them didn't get anything. Years later, Bansilal, the defense minister, during election time, went to Yamuna Nagar, the house of Parmanand Gupta, and presented a sword to his mother, which said, Second Lieutenant Parmanand Gupta, Mahavir Chakra. So, this is what the irony of the whole thing is.
Right.
Anyway, so that was Alpha Company. Alpha Company was, bore the brunt of the attack. Next come to Bravo Company. Bravo Company commander got a shrapnel, and he couldn't fight anymore. So I sent him to the ADS. Then Captain Bansal took over. He's the platoon commander, and he kept on fighting till the end. But they were slightly a little off. Only a slight portion of the Morapara was covered by them. So since nothing was happening, it was all fluid situation. The CO, Colonel Shamsher Singh, decided to send the third company, that is Delta Company, led by Major K.K. Rao. Now, Major K.K. Rao, his posting had come before the war, but he refused to get posted out. He said, I will fight the war and then go. And he led his company, and as he was about to reach the objective, he got a burst in his thigh. And poor man could not be evacuated. He bled to death. And he got a Sena medal. And in his company, there was this Ram Ugra Pandey. Ram Ugra Pandey was the section commander of his.
With a recoilless rifle.
He was not with recoilless rifle. He was with his normal rifle. But he had with him a recoilless soldier with a recoilless, or rather guardsman with a recoilless rifle, and that soldier died. So he took that rocket launcher and he destroyed about 3 to 4 bunkers. Unfortunately, an enemy rocket launcher or whatever it was, RCL, whatever, blew him to smithereens. He couldn't locate his body. Yeah. And in Noida, if in Delhi, there is a Ram Vihar, which is named after Ram Ugra Pandey. I attended the inauguration of that Ram Vihar. And similarly, in Ludhiana, the housing society is named after Shamsher Singh Samra. So that was that as far as Delta Company is concerned. Then Delta Company also had a platoon commander by the name of Vishnu Sarup Sarma. So he kept on holding on to the objective till it was untenable. And so thereafter, on the early morning of 24th, he was told to withdraw. And the brigade commander was then decided to launch a daylight attack. But because of the heavy casualties, because by then we had suffered 54 casualties, 54 killed. And 54 killed and about 100 wounded. In that Morapara attack. So
almost 1/3 battalion.
Yeah, because of the heavy casualties, it was decided that there's no more attack. Then a daylight attack. Then 5 Garhwal was tasked to, there was a border outpost next to Morapara, which was border outpost usually held by, by rangers.
Rangers, right?
Yeah. So, but they did a grand job, 5 Garhwal, and they were able to capture, climb over the walls and capture the border outpost. So that was that. And on 25th, on the day of 24th, we were firing at each other. And in that, also at night on 24th, 25th, we were trying to exploit the situation and sending in, small patrols. And one of them was led by Second Lieutenant K.S. Roy Jain, then Second Lieutenant K.S. Roy Jain, who led and who exploited and found in the early hours of 25th morning, he found that the place, was unoccupied. So he went and exploited that and was able to end the rest of the battalion, like, the CO, the 2IC, Adjutant, myself, we all followed him into the capture of Morapara. While going, my thigh got a bullet, and the Indian army soldiers are very brave. He just said, "Saab, goli lag gaya," and I had him evacuated. He lived till about a year back. I was helping him now and then, but the bullet could not be removed because it was too close to his heart. And ultimately, we were able to capture that. Sure enough, Pakistanis are very quick to counter-attack, and we were faced with counter-attack. We are with the help of artillery and also tanks, by which they were also, we were supported by initially by 63 cavalry
PT-76.
tanks, 63 cavalry, T-55 tanks.
T-55.
T-55 tanks are very heavy. They got bogged down in the mud, and because it was knee deep water and paddy fields, so uncut paddy fields. So it was they got bogged down and were not able to really support us. And but during the counterattack, they were able to, they were able to support us. And finally, from 25th November till 10th December, we were surrounded from all three sides because we vacated Noapara after capture of Morapara, and then 22 Marathas came, and 22 Marathas occupied Noapara, and they thought a friendly patrol had come. So our chaps went to receive one of the JCOs, and he was shot by the enemy. So Major Dadkar from 22 Maratha, he was a classmate of Major Mandrekar, and he was very upset that Major Mandrekar had died the previous day. So, but he went out to save this boy and get him back. In that, the enemy fired again, and Major Dadkar sacrificed his life. So both the friends who got killed, he got a Veer Chakra for that, for trying to save his
I remember
comrade.
seeing a picture of your CO being put a garland by.
Yeah, I am coming to that.
At
I am coming to that. After this was the first battle of Hilli, the Morapara, and then the second battle of Hilli was when we cleared a lot of positions along with 22 Maratha and 5 Gadwal rifles. The entire Hilli was cleared, but the fight wasn't as much because by then Hilli was cut off by the other brigade, and they were not in a position to fight. So ultimately, then on 11 December, after we cleared Hilli, that is the brigade cleared Hilli along with 5 Gadwal and 22 Marathas, then we drove down in a lot of Pakistani vehicles were captured. So in Wolseley and all that, we were driving down. I was driving myself in a Wolseley, and we went to Rangpur, and which was we were just outside Rangpur, and we were all getting ready to attack Rangpur. Yeah? So By the way, in that while we were surrounded, we came under tremendous artillery fire of enemy, and we lost 14 killed and about 30 wounded.
अच्छा अच्छा
14 killed, and so total casualties were 68 killed and 130 wounded in my battalion. And if you see, the 4th Frontier Force was commanded by a company was commanded by Muhammad Akram, who was the only
निशाने
Nishani
हैदर
in the entire East Pakistan, the only one was given, and the brigade commander was Tajamul Hussain Malik.
मलिक
He was the only brigade commander who was promoted later to
अच्छा
become a major general,
अच्छा
and he refused to surrender right till the end, till he was beaten up and he was, unconscious. He refused to surrender. He was telling people, "No, no, don't surrender, don't surrender.
I
I
think he
must."
went to Bogra to for
Yeah,
fighting. Yeah.
correct, correct. So ultimately, as I said, we were ready to capture, attack Rangpur when the ceasefire was called.
अच्छा
Then we moved to Dinajpur. From
अच्छा अच्छा
there, the next day we moved to Dinajpur, and there we got a hero's welcome in the Dinajpur town. And there is that photograph
अच्छा अच्छा
of
your
CO
CO
being islanded, and I gave a guard of honor. You know, I have always been giving a lot of guards of honor given to Brigadier Apte would know that he sent me the photograph also of my giving guard of honor to Jacob when he took over as army commander
अच्छा अच्छा
at Dum Dum Airport. So I've given about 7, 8 guards of honor and what you call received colors from my battalion. And so there also again I was giving a guard of honor to some VIP of theirs. I don't know. I don't remember his name. Some Rahman or somebody. I don't know what he was. But guard of honor was given by my battalion to him. And there finally we went to Dinajpur, and we were given a warm welcome by the nuns there. They called us for the dinner and things like that, and we had hardly eating anything. We just
right.
living
That's
on
how battle
shakarpara.
is.
Yeah, so living on shakarparas, and so there we got a hero's welcome and excellent dinner there. So that was that. That is the Battle of Hilli, and I'm not. I've basically talked of my battalion, but the other two battalions also fought well. We got Battle Honor Hilli and Theatre Honor
East Pakistan, I guess.
East Pakistan. Similarly, 5 Garhwal also got Battle Honor Hilli and Theatre Honor East Pakistan. 22 Maratha Ally regrettably got only Theatre Honor. They should have got the Battle Honor also. But anyway, that is that. So, and after reaching our permanent location, we were taken to, we went by train to Delhi, which was a victory parade,
अच्छा
and
अच्छा
only 3 battalions took part. One was ours, second para of Tangel, and 10 para of Bhavani Singh in Chhatro in
Chachra,
the
right,
western
right.
sector. So 3 battalions only took part in that victory parade. There was nothing else, no other floats or anything like that. And I also took in that parade. But we had suffered so many casualties. We didn't have manpower to have 4 contingents. So ultimately we had to get from other guard battalion to make up the contingent. So that, and we were the first. I must say that besides the CO, twice he was Major Chaudhary, who later on became Major General Chaudhary, commanded 14 days, and died in an accident on way to Chandigarh. He was rock solid absolutely throughout the.
The
He had
entire
fought the
conflict.
60. Yeah, he was the 65 war. He had taken part in 65 war also, and he was the adjutant, as Air Commodore Sridharan and Brigadier Apte would know. He was the adjutant in NDA also. And one last thing I forgot. In the war memorial, it was written in Delhi that the names of all 68 killed were there, and it was written that we are not successful in capturing the objective. So that upset me, and it took me 2 years to write to the Eastern Army Commander and the Army Chief and have it corrected.
अच्छा
And ultimately it was corrected, and they said it was captured. The Hilli was captured. It is written there. Our battle is there in the war memorial, but the writing was, not doing justice.
I saw the
So,
same at the Eastern Command Memorial as well.
yeah, okay. But anyway, that has been changed, and finally, my comrades would sleep in peace. Those who were otherwise it was injustice to them.
Now I would come to the helicopter operations, sir. Starting with Squadron Leader Pushp Kumar Vaid and Air Commodore Sridharan, who served under him as flying officer in 71 operations. I would like to give the stage to you both, sir. So, as Squadron Leader Vaid had been the entire flight ops manager, to be honest, of the 1110 HU in the Sylhet sector, I would like to start from you, sir. And you have earned the VRC as well, the Gallantry Award holder in all four of you, sir. So I would like to have a brief talk from you, sir.
Yeah, so uh, General Sagar Singh had the wisdom to request Indian Air Force and Indian Army to attach one helicopter unit to the FOCO because he got such a big area to cover, especially for casualty evacuation and supply of arms and ammunition and all. So we were fortunate; we got it attached to FOCO right from the beginning of the war. But before the war started, especially from about September onwards, we got instructions that we should do a lot of low flying, a lot of night flying, because a lot of the flying will be at night, and especially unprepared helipads with no facilities of any kind. So we started doing that from September, October, November. We did a lot, especially in November, we did a lot of low flying and
These
night
were
flying and
the
landing at
Mi-4
night.
helicopters, right, sir?
Yeah, Mi-4 helicopters. Yeah,
Acha, acha.
and and Russian helicopter, very reliable, wonderful aircraft. We only had 8 helicopters in my unit, 110HU. So we needed more, and Group Captain Charan Singh managed to get 4 from one of 5 in Chabwa, and then 2 more from Hashimara came and joined us on the 10th of December. So eventually we had 14 helicopters. So first 3 days, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th December, basically we were doing what normal helicopters would do: casualty evacuation, supply of arms and ammunition, and taking general or brigadier or whoever wanted to go for a recce. And on the 6th evening, we were told 7th we'll go to Kailashar and start the operation for Sylhet. We'll take 4-5 Gurkhas to Sylhet. So 7th morning, we arrived in Kailashar, 8 helicopters. And there, Brigadier Quinn was there and Group Captain Chanan Singh. They took my CO, Sandhu, and they had a recce of Sylhet area where they were going to land, and the Kalora from where we were going to pick up 4-5 Gurkhas. So midday on the 7th, we moved to Kalora, and we were waiting there for 4-5 Gurkhas to turn up, and they came a little bit late. They came about 2:30. So 2:45, we started our operation. And aim was to send line astern, one behind the other. So I was number 1, and then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and whatever we could fill up. We had removed the clamshell door, so it was easier for soldiers to jump in and jump out, and all to also carry bigger equipment. And we had no seats, and we had no belts, and we had no ropes, and we had no nets. So it was like a truck. You fill everything up and then get airborne. And all the passengers sat on top of the luggage, whatever freight we had. They all sat on top of it. And my highest regards to the flight engineers who were looking after the passengers. They were absolutely incredible. They were the last one in and the first one out whenever we loaded up the helicopter. So I arrived still at about 3 o'clock, just after 3, dropped my load and got airborne. And the second one came 3-4 minutes later. The third one came 3-4 minutes later. And I came running back to Kalora to pick up my next load. We had fuel for 3 trips each. So by the time the 5th or 6th helicopter arrived at Sylhet, Pakistan Army had started surrounding us and they were firing at us. But our army, which we had dropped 4-5 Gurkhas, had spread out nicely, and they were keeping the Pakistan Army at bay. They were not letting them get closer to us. So we were slightly out of range for Pakistan Army. So very few bullets were reaching our helicopter. So by the time I came, I picked up my next load and went and arrived at Sylhet. I realized the amount of bullets that were coming. It's absolutely amazing. So many bullets were coming. By the time we went the third time, even more bullets were coming. But again, we had so many, our own Gurkhas were there, they were spreading out nicely and they were firing back at the Pakistanis. And also Mukti, Kilo Flight, uh, Elvet helicopter was giving us cover, and they were firing at back at wherever the Pakistanis were firing from. So they were keeping them down as well. So after the 3 flights were finished, each we came back to Kalashok to get some more fuel. And Group Captain Chandan Singh had been circling overhead, and he also came back. And of course, if I could see 100 bullets, he could see the thousands. He could see the whole lot. So when we all came back, and then the engineers looked at all the helicopters, serviced them, refueled them, got them all ready. About 7:15, we were all ready to go. And I told Group Captain we are ready to go, and Group Captain said, no, we won't go at night. It's too dark and it's too dangerous, and you guys are too slow. Anybody can shoot you down. So in the meantime, I told all my pilots to go and sleep, because we'd been flying literally 24/7. So everybody was sleeping. I was probably sleeping as well. I was waiting for them to finalize what they want to do. So Brigadier Quinn and Group Captain was having a long chat, and Brigadier Quinn was telling him that the war doesn't stop just because it is night. And Brigadier Air Commodore was telling him, if I send a helicopter, it gets shot down, we lose pilots, we lose passengers, we lose an aircraft, so no gain is there. So eventually, Brigadier convinced him that you only drop 250 soldiers. They don't have enough equipment. They don't have enough food. They only carried small amount of equipment, small amount of food. They need to be reinforced, and we only dropped 250 soldiers. And there were nearly 7,000, 6,000 plus Pakistani soldiers over there, which is quite incredible. So anyway, but midnight, I got about 11ish, 11:15, I got a message at night that Group Captain wants to see me. So I went to see him, and he said, we'll send one helicopter, and if it comes back, we'll send the rest.
Achha.
So I said, okay, I'll go myself. So I picked up Flying Officer Kant Reddy, and Bindra was our flight engineer. So we took off just after midnight, and when we set course, and of course daytime we knew the helipad, nighttime was pitch dark, and we knew roughly where the Surma River was, and we knew the helipad is about a kilometer after the Surma River. But I was quite confident I'll find the place. But then I could have been 100 yards out or 200 yards out, and we would have been in the enemy territory. Luckily, Flying Officer Sharma had gone along as a flight air controller, and he was on the radio. So when he heard the helicopter, he came up on the radio, and he said, about time you guys came. And he said, I asked him how the situation was like on the ground. He says, no, everything is very quiet. So he says, I light a fire for you. So he lit fire for me, so I knew exactly where to land. So I told my passengers, as soon as I land, everybody should jump out, and we'll be airborne in 30 seconds. So on the finals, when we were coming into land, the amount of bullets that are coming towards us was incredible. So many bullets were coming. We landed, we dropped everybody, got airborne literally in about 30 seconds. On the way back, I asked my flight engineer, please go and have a look how many bullet holes we got. And he went with the light on and torch on, and came back after 2 minutes with a big grin. Sir, ek bhi bullet nahi laga humko. Not one bullet has hit us. I was really flabbergasted. I said, the only reason the bullet has not hit us is Pakistanis cannot see us. They're firing at the noise. So I rang up my base on the radio. I said, come on guys, these people don't know how to fire. We're all going in. We start getting ready. In the meantime, I had fuel for 3 flights. So I picked up my next load. When running back again, dropped my next load. Again, I got airborne. Again, without any bullet holes. Came running back, picked up my 3rd load. When running back, dropped my 3rd load. And this time when I got airborne, my fuel gauge was showing 0. But my engine was running, my rotors were running. So obviously, I had fuel. So 3 of us were praying to whoever's up there, take us back home. We got back home, and the engineers opened the panel, and they found one bullet had come in through the engine and hit the cable going to the fuel gauge and broken the cable. So they just changed the cable, the fuel gauge was working. In the meantime, 4 helicopters had got ready, they started operating, and I went and got fuel for myself, and I joined the 4 helicopters. The whole night we flew that day. And the 8th we flew, and then the 9th morning, but 9 o'clock, we had delivered the entire 4-5 Gurkhas to Sylhet. And then we all came back to Agartala. And in Agatala, that is the only place the helicopter pilots and the engineers had toilet, had food and bed. So instructions were everybody give the helicopter to the engineers, run to the toilet, run to the food, and go to sleep. And that's what everybody was doing. And then about 10:30, I was woken up again, and General Sagat Singh wants to see you. So I went to see him, and he says, "I'll show you your next destinations." He was so impressed with what we had done in Sylhet. So he said, "I know what to do now, how to cross the river Meghna." So that's what he did. He showed me Raipura, and on the way back we went down low level, and we got fired at, and so many bullets hit through the helicopter. It was little Albert, and one bullet scraped right across forehead of General Sagat Singh as well, and one of the pilots got injured. And we came back and landed. Luckily, the helicopter was still flying, and of course, I got off and started planning my trip for that evening. Later on, I came to know that helicopter had 38 bullet holes in that helicopter. That means 19 bullets had gone through that helicopter, and only one person was injured. And Sagat Singh had a little scrape on his forehead, and that's it, which is absolutely amazing.
Squad leader Pushp, Vaid, and Air Commodore Sridharan, I know them both very well. Uh, the V4s were so overloaded, he'll tell you that they had not even closed the doors properly. So I substantiate my viewpoint that our Indian Air Force, not only the fighter bomber pilots, but the helicopter pilots, absolutely amazing. And I don't think there could be any better force integration between the Army and the Air Force. Navy is a little different ball game, but hats off to them. And I know I knew Brigadier Harodikar very well. I'd served with him. What Squad Leader Pushp is saying, that time he was commanding the Gurkha Battalion, outstanding. And I served with him. I was with him in 1982, and he always swore by whatever was done in 71 by these Air Force people. But that time I didn't know Squad Leader Pushp. It was only, what should I say, Greek and Latin to me who this great officer was till I met him about a year ago. Thanks to Air Commodore Sridharan. Sridharan, of course, I've known from the NDA days, but marvelous. Hats off to you both, sir. The army couldn't have done anything without what you did. Hats off. Great. I salute you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your kind words.
Okay.
I'll excuse myself, and I'm sure the podcast will be excellent. So I've got to attend another event. That's why.
Okay, sir. So, no issue. I'll continue the program as usual. And after Vaid, sir, I'll get to Air Commodore Sridharan as well. And, sir, you can continue. And thank you, sir, Brigadier Ajit Apte, for being here. And thanks to Brigadier Ghogale as well, sir. Thank you for inviting him. As you were proceeding, I think this now you are going to start with the Meghna crossing, right, sir?
Yeah, we started that on the 9th afternoon, 4 o'clock. 4 guards came. Major Chandakant and the 4 guards were there, and we started the operation 4 o'clock. We had 8 helicopters, and we flew right through the evening, right through the night, and by next evening, I think it was 36 hours roughly. 10th, by 10th morning, we had delivered nearly 1,000 soldiers across the river. And because now we had learned from Sylhet not to go anywhere near the enemy. So Raipura, we were far away from the enemy, so no enemy was firing at us. So 10th morning, we came back, and we were just about lying down to sleep, catch some sleep, when I got a message from, again, Sagat Singh and Chandan Singh that I'll show you where we're going to go next. So he showed us Narasingdi. And then for next 2 days after that, 11th, 12th, 13th, we did Narasingdi.
Sir, another thing, I would like to go to Air Commodore Sridharan to know about his part in these crossings as well. So,
Yeah.
Sridharan sir, if you could speak a bit about that. As a flying officer and one of the helicopter pilots under Squadron Leader Vaid, at that time Flight Lieutenant.
Actually, my my boss, squad leader Vaid, Pushp Vaid, because of whom we actually went into this war, he gave us the opportunity. He and the CO squad leader Sandhu, they gave us the opportunity as I was the junior most pilot in the squadron at that point of time,
Acha, acha.
and there were a number of pilots who had gone to Russia for training on Mi-8, who were experienced Mi-4 pilots,
Acha.
who were available for them to, move into 110 HU, which was at Kumigram. But we being the actual pilots of the unit, he made sure that, and he had actually trained us all, both by day and by night, before the war, and I became fully operational, all thanks to his goodwill and also his professionalism, which helped us during the war too. The first part of the war, which was the Sylhet operation, the first night heliborne operation ever carried out, was in that I came a little late because I had been, my helicopter had been dispersed. So I had been, as from instruction from the unit, I had been dispersed to Aijal with a set of crew and to be standby to move in at any point of time.
Acha.
So that I had gone in the beginning of the war. That was on 4th, on 3rd, and we were there till the 6th. On 7th, we were told to move to Teliamura,
Teliamura. Acha.
which was the 4 Corps headquarters. So I, along with another pilot of ours, squad leader, then flying officer Krishnamurti, we moved to Teliamura, and from there on 8th early morning, we were told you go to Kailashar.
Acha, acha.
And we reached Kailashar. The other helicopters, the 6 of them which were there, they were operating to 7 of them. They were operating to Sylhet the previous day and previous night. So on 8th, I rejoined them and I continued this entire operation, what they did, and continued flying till we moved to, on 9th morning, we moved to Agartala.
Acha.
And as Squadron Vaid mentioned, that we started operating, and the first part of the operations across the Meghna was from Brahmanbaria, which is just ahead of Agartala, to Raipura, and then Narsingdi, and then Vaidya Bazar. These were the 3 places. And we continued operations all throughout, as he mentioned, that none of us slept. We were just put up in the ATC. There was some place, all our hold alls were, in those days we had these hold alls for beddings that was just spread out on the ground there. And as and when, he used to tell us that as and when you can go and have a little bit of a shut eye, you go in and come back. And food and all we never really bothered about, because we were so spirited, because as I told you, I was one of the youngest pilots in the unit and the junior most in the unit at that point of time. So we were so enthusiastic and so what should I say, inspired, and what all had already been done by our unit at that point of time, and by the army, which supported, I mean, we were in support of at Sylhet, and then later on during the Meghna crossing, we were highly inspired by that, and we never bothered. And as he said, that the engineers and the flight engineers, they were the greatest asset for us. No helicopter was ever put down during the entire operation, right from Sylhet, right across the Meghna, until we reached Dhaka for the surrender ceremony. So, I mean, this as I would also like to highlight that the Mi-4 is a very rugged helicopter, and we flew well beyond its capabilities. And actually, all these Russian helicopters I have flown after that also. I flew the Mi-8 and the Mi-35 also, and Mi-17 also. I have found that they perform well above what is actually shown in the manuals.
Of them, right?
What is expected of them. Right. So that is what I would like to highlight, that the Mi-4 was a fantastic aircraft and gave us. It didn't give us even one problem right throughout the operation. Not even one helicopter was put down out of the 14 which operated in the entire Meghna crossing. Not a single helicopter was put down. And by the end of the operations, in fact, on the 16th itself, by 15th, actually, we came to know that we would be going for the surrender ceremony. And by that time, I had flown quite a lot of sorties by day and by night. And the flight commander had detailed me to fly with one of the COs of the other unit, Squadron Leader Karyappa, then Squadron Leader Karyappa, later on Air Marshal Karyappa. So I flew with him to Dhaka on the 16th.
Acha, acha, acha.
I was his co-pilot. And 5 of our helicopters carrying the generals plus some of the army and all our crew, this Squadron Leader Vaid ensured that each and every crew which was there, air crew which was of our unit, that is 110 helicopter unit, went for the surrender ceremony at Dhaka. And one of our pilots, you would have seen him in the photograph also, pushing General Jacob out of the
Wing Commander
Krishnamurthy. Yeah,
I think it's
that time flying officer Krishnamurthy. He's there in that surrender photograph. Yeah.
right.
So, if you want to ask me any other question, I would be very glad to answer that.
That's a wonderful experience of all of you talking, sir. Also getting your stuff as well.
No, actually, as I told you earlier also, that I was just one of the pilots, under his command. And he would just tell us, okay, take that helicopter, go. This is go and do a class back, come back, or do this, carry this sortie across to this place.
Right.
So we were just like detailed by them. And we were totally under their control, and everything was, managed by Squadron Leader Vaid and his team over there. That's including the engineering officers also and the technicians.
Okay.
And of course, we were the pilots there.
Right, sir. And I think
Unfortunately, only he and Squadron Leader Sandhu were decorated. Even our technical crew also deserved some award or the other. And now we are fighting to get our battle honors. That Vaid sir is also, he's spoken to the chief also, and they said that this is rather late that we have put it up, but still he's promised us that he would work towards getting us the battle honors for the Bangladesh war. For the
At
unit.
least he'll give us the citation. Chief of
Citation
Air Staff
from the-
citation is already agreed.
The chief's citation he's already agreed.
right. Wonderful, sir.
I could get the privilege of speaking over here in your podcast along with my boss. So that's really fantastic. The first time we've spoken together in a podcast like
When
this.
Brigadier Ajit Apte talked about this, I really wanted to invite him as well. Squadron Leader Vaid,
Okay.
your boss.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Okay, sir. Then nice
Okay,
talking to
David.
you.
Great.
I'll be in
Thank
touch
you.
with all of you.
Thank you so much
Thank you, sir.
for giving us this privilege of speaking on your podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Devu.